Hello there, it's Giallo time. When I reviewed the Italian crime picture, Shoot First, Die Later, I mentioned that I have a deep red love of Italian horror, specifically its subgenre, Giallo. Giallo did not begin in movies, though. It started as books, with a nice literary route to turn into gory murder mystery movies. That tradition continues with modern authors who think they can step to the likes of Argento and Fulci and Martino to turn in their own Giallo works. One of those authors is David Sodergren and his book Dead Girl Blues, which I just finished reading a few minutes ago and want to talk about for a few minutes. So what I think of the book overall? I thought it was pretty good. As far as most people's modern interpretations of trying to replicate Giallo or make something in the Giallo genre, a lot of them tend to get lost in the style and a misinterpretation of the style. This is less literature and more cinematic and short film versions, but they tend to get very loose in their logic and very color over stylized. The problem is, and this might rub some people the wrong way, but I love Dario Argento. I love 1977 Suspiria. Suspiria is not Giallo. I don't classify it as Giallo. It's too supernatural. Witches are the bad guys. They kill people supernaturally, or supernatural monsters are killing people. Yes, they're using straight razors. Yes, they're killing people physically, but they're doing it with a supernatural flair, and supernaturalness is too heavily involved in it. I know, before you come at me, I know Deep Red has psychics, and the point I'm trying to make is they kind of latch on to one movie in the Giallo subgenre and like just strip it for every bit of inspiration. Y'all, there were hundreds of movies to qualify under this and tons of books that you could pull from. You don't have to just keep trying to do Suspiria. You can do Case of the Bloody Iris. You can do The New York Ripper. You can do Your Vice is a Locked Room and Only I Have the Key. These titles were amazing. Which is kind of why Dead Girl Blues turns out to also be a solid title. It has relevance to the story in a way that I was not expecting, and I really appreciated that. This book stays very early 70s Giallo, despite the fact taking place in modern-day Scotland. Not a location I would have figured, but you know what? Not all of them took place in Italy, so there you go. While I enjoyed it in this book, it does deviate from Giallo as it goes on and gets into more of a what on earth is this torture that you got going on at the end. He being the author, actually in the closing afterward for it said that he knows it deviates from Giallo, and he came up with a term for it. It also created the challenge of promoting a book written in a genre most people haven't heard of, which is why I'm coining the term slasher noir. Okay, cool, whatever. There's still enough Giallo here to qualify it as Giallo for me. If you want to say that it dips into slasher noir at the end, okay, I'm not going to argue with you. I had a fun time with the ending. I'm not going to say it came out of nowhere. I'm not going to say that it didn't make sense. It's just not where the classics would have gone. Which, I guess, if you're trying to jazz up and modernize it, okay, I can see where that works. One pitfall that it falls into that I kind of understand, but I don't know why more of them fall into this. This seems to be a recurrence when people tend to try to bring Giallo back. Giallo definitely had some sleazy elements to it. No one is sitting here denying that it didn't. It was the late 60s through the very sleazy 70s of Italian and European horror, and even into some of the dirty 80s. Not every character needs to be a sleazeball. Not every story requires it. I mean, he made it make sense here, but cracking open this book and realizing that our main character is a chain-smoking orphan stripper with a dark past, having to solve the murder of a girl who died in her arms. boy howdy, that's just laid on thick. And I get it, for a lot of people, the sleaze factor is what they enjoy about Giallo. It's not my favorite element. I like a lot of the other styling to it. I've always described Giallo as basically slasher-level violence in fun little Agatha Christie murder mysteries. They're crime films with more gore, basically. I understand why this book made the choices that it did. I had a fun ride along the way with it. It's just really... It's better than other people who've attempted to bring Giallo back, because those always end up tottering off into details of like, why are you doing this? You're doing this just to make me mad. I'm looking at you, the editor. One day, I will put my rage aside and I will talk about the editor and how it made me feel and what it made me think and how it made me interpret everybody's attempts to do throwbacks, and how you're all wrong. Except Black Dynamite. Black Dynamite gets it perfect. Would I recommend Dead Girl Blues? Yes. If you like horror, if you like Giallo, if you like murder mystery stories, this is good. It's gonna get very cartoonishly graphic toward the end, but if you're into this type of stuff, that's gonna be no big deal for you. If I have to leave you with some good praise, it's this dope cover art. I'd like to point out that it is, not only does the centerpiece there just, ooh boy, does that just look like it came from any 70s Giallo movie. The entire process of it is a throwback to the Mondadori Giallo books, which is where the Giallo term to crime stories with violence initially came from, which were a series of yellow-covered paperbacks released in Italy in the late 50s through the 60s, I think. Anyway, the cover's a good throwback to the styling of how it was done, with just all the look to it. The styling is why I picked this book up. As soon as I saw this on the shelf, my brain went, Giallo! And I knew I had to get this. And I'm very glad I did. I'm glad to have this in my collection. It's going to look really nice on my bookshelf. Hopefully, he'll write more slasher noir one day. And I'll be there for it. Anyway, thanks for watching, y'all. Ciao! Keep it wabi-sabi.